Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
नमस्कार, वेलकम टू कॉमन इंडियन वॉइस। स्वामी प्रज्ञानंद जी, गीतांजलि जी, नमस्कार। आपका बहुत स्वागत है। स्वामी जी, आप तो प्रार्थना से शुरू करते हैं, तो प्रार्थना से ही शुरू किया जाए।
ओम वसुदेव सुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं। ओम।
दोस्तों, हम लोग दूसरा अध्याय का चर्चा कर रहे थे और पिछली बार हम दोनों ने, मैंने और गीतांजलि जी ने कुछ सवाल पूछे थे और आज हम लोग उससे आगे जाने वाले हैं। एंड पहला सवाल गीतांजलि जी आप ही कर लीजिए, फिर मैं सेकंड सवाल मैं करूँगी।
प्रणाम स्वामी जी। पिछली बारी हम चर्चा कर रहे थे आत्मा की उस पर कि आत्मा जो है वो उसकी जो करेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं, आत्मा के गुण कि ना भीगता है ना वो मारा जाता है। तो इसके विषय में थोड़ा सा आप बताएंगे कि जैसे हम एक जन्म से दूसरे जन्म जाते हैं तो हमारे साथ आत्मा के साथ क्या क्या जाता है? जैसे हम कहते हैं पिछले जन्म के संस्कार आ गए।
तीन शरीर माना जाता है। स्थूल शरीर, that is the physical body. सूक्ष्म शरीर, that is the psychic body, psyche. And Karana sharir. Karana sharir is the original ignorance due to which the Atman considers the bodies to be itself. So Karana sharir cannot be removed by anything that we call yoga sadhana or yoga upasana. It vanishes when Brahmajnana dawns. So we will not discuss that at this stage. So it is the Sukshma Sharira which travels from one body to another and also has to undergo all the fruits of karma, previous karma. The birth itself is the final fruit of the karma, next birth itself. With that, the account becomes zero. Previous accounts become zero. And then, as per the new feeling, bhava, that I am this, about the body, physical body, that it has got in the next birth, a new series of karma starts. This has been explained in the 15th chapter. Shariram yadavapnodi yachabhyukramadishvaraha grihittedani sanyadi vayurgandani vashayat Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granameva cha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevade udkramandam stidam vabi bhunjanam va gunanidam vimudhananu vashyandi jnana jarshusha. So when it enters the body, it attracts the five senses along with mind from the nature, and then it enjoys the fruits thereof in that life. And then when it leaves the body, it takes these with them, like wind takes the scent with it. The Atman takes, soul is not Atman. Soul is a living force, actually. The soul which the other philosophies talk about, it is a living force only. It is not Atman which is a witness. So Atman, when it enters the next body, it enters in the Stula Sharira, psyche. So it has to enjoy. Enjoy means it has to experience all the fruits of karma which it does in the previous birth. and then it enters another body. When with that the account becomes zero. From that zero balance, they have to it has to start again in the new body. Did you get my point?
यस स्वामी जी, मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ, जो पहले अध्याय में अर्जुन ने तो 4 कारण दिए थे कि वो लड़ाई लड़ने के वजह से क्या 4 कुरीतियां शुरू हो जाएगी, तो उसके जवाब में श्री कृष्ण क्या कहते हैं उन चारों के सवाल में? जैसे कुल नष्ट हो जाएगा, फिर बहुत चार, तो उसके कृष्ण भगवान उसका जवाब क्या देते हैं?
भगवान स्पेसिफिकली यानी धर्मे नष्टे कुलं कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्णसंकर संकरो नरकायैव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च, all these things. So only 2 aspects Lord is answering in that series of questions. One is dharma. You don't lose dharma by fighting and thereby killing your adversaries in the war. It is your dharma. Dharmadi yuddhat shreyonya kshatriyasya na vidyade. Yadruchaya chopapannam swargadwaram abhavrutam sughina kshatriya partha labade yuddham idrisham. So only very, very lucky ones will get this chance to fight like this. Others will not. So you don't lose your dharma by fighting a war which is for the righteousness, to establish righteousness through rulers. That is the primary duty of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya should not be on the side of adharma. He is not a Kshatriya. He is only a mercenary. When he is a Kshatriya, he has to fight for dharma. That is the main accusation which comes against Bhishma and Drona, just because they, for material indebtedness, they were having allegiance to the Duryodhana, Kaurava side. Material allurements or indebtedness, they were swearing by that. So that should not be the Kshatriya's attitude. Then he is only a mercenary, isn't it? Militia. So those who fought for, even in Ukraine war, there are discussions that some militias are being sent by both sides to fight the war. So these things are discussed. So Arjuna's duty, dharma, is to fight. Dharma in both sense, as duty also and as the path for his liberation, mukti. That also is dharma yuddha. So there is no, since this is dharma yuddha, there is no fear of loss of dharma, going against dharma and all these things. And about killing his own people, they have come to fight. They know the consequences of facing Arjuna. So it is not Arjuna's fault. So whether they are on Pandava side or Kaurava side, both have come to fight. And by fighting, they know the consequences. They are there to kill or be killed. So that is not a fault of Arjuna. So the Arjuna does not occur all the scenes for killing, for the death of these people, as Arjuna is thinking. So, and about Stree and all that, Krishna is not answering as such. But in Mahabharata, we see that they are anyway killed. all the progeny and everything. Jayade Varna Sankara, there was no chance. Everybody were eliminated. Only Parikshits and Kauravas, Pandavas, they survived in the whole of that Kula. Nobody else survived. And Parikshit was, of course, saved by Krishna to succeed Yudhishthira. So it was Arjuna's lineage which went ahead, not Yudhishthira's. So Yudhishthira became the emperor, but after that, the Chandravamsha or Puruvamsha, it proceeded, it progressed through, the lineage was Arjuna's. This is the
so Swami ji, one small question. तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि गीता हम लोगों को बोलते हैं कि आजकल हम लोग देखते हैं ना, कर्म हम करते हैं, डिसीजन हम लेते हैं और डाल देते हैं दूसरों के, उसके वजह से हुआ, उसके वजह से. तो गीता बेसिकली यही बोल रहा है कि डिसीजन आपकी रहती है, तो अच्छा होगा बुरा होगा वो आपका है, कोई और उसके लिए जिम्मेदार नहीं है. No one else is responsible. Is that, am I right?
I have to answer in a different way. We have degraded from our ancestors to the material plane. Our ancestors were on the spiritual plane. So whatever they could see in life, their goal was liberation, not a material benefit. But how many of us can say that we live in a spiritual way for a spiritual goal? Even ordinary people used to live like that. I have seen many people who are poor, but they are spiritually much aware and doing all the penances and everything. These things I have seen. So what I am saying is, we have now come down to the material plane. So our questions are also concerning the material plane. Bhagavad Gita is actually on a spiritual platform. It is a spiritual platform. So the karma is two type of karma are there. One, because of the entire creation, Bhuta Bhava Kara Visarga Karma Sanjita. Karma is that karma which is of Ishvara. Ishvara karma, Ishvara Rachana. So about that Ishvara Rachana, we can't do anything. In that Ishvara karma, the optimum that one can do is, Krishna wants also Arjuna, Prakratim Yanti Bhudani Nigraha Kim Karishyati. According to nature only the things can act. Body is a product of creation, nature. So body cannot deviate or violate the laws of nature. If we try for that, we will be eliminated, wiped out by nature. So we can't violate the laws of the nature. So whoever thinks that he is doing what the nature is doing actually, do we think that I am digesting? Do we think that I am circulating? Do you think that I am breathing? It happens. We say we are seeing, but seeing is happening. We are hearing, but hearing is happening. If the setup was not there by the nature, nothing could have been done. So very, very little, only the attachment part is of ours. So Krishna says very clearly, Ahangara Vimudatma Kartaham Edi Manyade. Only one who is deluded by egoism, by the ego, only he will say that I am doing. Otherwise, everything occurs and we just happen to be the witness.
Nimitta.
So that is the secret of karma, but only because of our attachments, we are subjected to karma phala. If attachment is not there, then there will be no karma phala.
Yes, Geetanjali ji.
Gunasakta nibadhyade. Gunasakta nibadhyade. Who is attached to the activities or doing working of the gunas, he will be bound. He or she will be bound. Oh.
Geetanjali ji.
So, Swamiji, one more question going back to, when Arjun says that the women will be polluted and through them the progeny will be polluted. So when the Draupadi Chirharan episode happens, like that is something that I've been thinking about a lot. Did that indicate the general state of the matter in the kingdom, that women could be abducted? Like Draupadi is a queen, and they still pulled her pulled her clothes, tried to pull her clothes off right in front of the whole
Yes.
court. So was that the general state of things in the kingdom as such at the time? Does it indicate that?
As such, Duryodhana and Dushasana were not in power then. It was Dhritarashtra was in power, and still they were doing all these things. So had Yudhishthira and Arjuna and all had given up the war, and had they come to power, real power, actual power, then things would have been worse. So Krishna had to come to save Draupadi in spite of all these people being there. So if Bhagavan Bharose nahi chodna hai, so that is not the attitude, that should not be the attitude of the rulers and princes also. So none of them did anything. And if I am understanding it correctly, even the family of Drupada were there. And they also did not do anything. It is Krishna who told them that you have to fight. Things cannot be like this. Then Yudhishthira had the trust in Krishna that if we are ready to fight, then Krishna will be on our side. So things would have been much worse had Yudhishthira given up the war, become a sattvic person, very sattvic person, extra sattvic to a fault. If he had become like that, then things would have worsened much. Yatra naryastu pujande ramande tatra devata. In Malayalam, they say where the women's tears fall, that land will burn. So all these things. And then when some sages go to Raja Ashwadi's capital, and they say in the evening, they say, we are leaving this town, because in the townspeople, they do many sins. So we always leave outside towns and villages in the night. We can't stay here. Then Ashwadi says, in my rule, in my area where I rule, in my kingdom, there is no thief or anybody, and there is no immoral people, immoral male men. There are no immoral men, so how there can be moral women? So it is the men who are responsible if anything happens to if the women are degraded in society like that, immoral, they become immoral. It is the responsibility of men who are facilitating such things. That is clearly mentioned in the Upanishad also. So if things are mentioned in Upanishad even, then it means that things have been going on like that, but in spite of that, there was a strong check. Now the saddest part happening now is there is no check. And if anybody checks, it is moral policing. Who are you to tell dress like this, behave like this. So very strange things are happening. So this is what was the stage. This is what our rishis and sages feared. The society will become licentious. Nobody to question us. No standards which we should follow. It is ignorance rather than shamelessness. It is ignorance which is making people do these things. Ignorance of their spiritual background. It is their spiritual background, ignorance of spiritual background, which is making them say and do these things. Otherwise, they would not have done these things, for sure.
Okay. Swami ji, sorry, please boliye.
So, Strishu Dushtasu Varshneya Jayade Varna Sangara. That fear is there when there is no authority and moral authorities in society and in the administration. Both were there. The king was not supreme. It was the Raja Purohita who was supreme. The king was beaten with a danda by the Purohita, chasing him 7 times around the throne and saying, Dharma Dandyosi, Dharma Adandyosmi. I am not to be questioned by anybody. I will not be punished by anybody. So the Purohita says, beating on the head, Dharma Dandyosi. You are under the Dharma Danda. You will be punished by Dharma. Now people are ignorant about their Manava Dharma. What they say to be the Vanava Dharma, being human and all these things, they are very superficial things. The deep understanding of one's being is necessary. That is what Krishna starts with. You are an Atman, totally different in nature from body. With that, Krishna starts. So there is no question of these questions should not arise actually, and it had not happened at that time. Arjuna is saying, if the war occurs, all the good people are killed, then this will happen because there will be no authority, moral authority and administrative authority in administration to say that thou shalt not do this. You are a human being. You are a higher platform than this, on a higher platform than this. These things have to be told, asserted, taught, and maintained. Oh.
Swamiji, a small question. The story you just told about the king being beaten by the stick by the Raj Purohit, where is that story from?
It is not a story. It is a process of Abhisheka.
Okay.
It's not a story that something happened like that to some king. The ceremony of Rajabhisheka, it is in that.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Okay. स्वामी जी, आपने जो उसको दूसरे अध्याय को 4 हिस्सों में बांटा था, तो द्वितीय हिस्सा जो है, सेकंड पार्ट जो है, उसका सार क्या है? मींस व्हाट डू वी understand? What are we supposed to understand from the second part of second
part is about the Atman. About the Atman or ahead? Dharma.
ना, आपने वो श्लोक के हिसाब से डिवाइड किया था ना?
Yes, yes.
हाँ,
Prakaran.
हाँ,
so the first Prakaran is Arjuna concludes his Vishada Yoga. Conclusion of the first chapter is there in the second chapter. From 11 to 30th, Krishna is saying about Atman. His theory of Atman. Not theory, practically it is there. Krishna shows. And then comes Dharma. About Dharma, Arjuna is told. And then comes the Karma Yoga part. And then Sthita Pragya. So the second part actually is about Atman.
Okay. So, what about the last part? Because we have, you have told us about Dharma, you have told us about Atman. So,
yes.
last case में क्या ये होता है?
Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna is 54 to 72. Arjuna asked the question. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Sthitadi kim prabhasheda kimasida vrajeda. What are the how do we identify a Sthita Prajna? How does he sit? How does he behave? How does he? So all these things have been explained in very detail by saints, because this is the very soul of spirituality. These 20 slokas one not 20, 18 slokas one reads. He has his hand on everything that spirituality has to say to a human being. So it starts with two aspects are stressed by Sri Krishna. One is your nature should not delude you. Indriyas and nature should not delude you. That is the first part he is stressing. Prajahadi yada kaman sarvan partha manogadan. Nature will lure you into outer world. And you will never know that the inner world and the outer world are the same. They are reflections of each other. Neither the inner world is me nor the outer, I am in the outer world. If we are in the outer world, only the skin matters. Not even the hide, the skin, outer skin. If that is removed, nobody will recognize us. We will be looking a very ghostly figure. So if it is we are a part of the outer world, only this outer skin matters. And if we are part of the inner matter, including the hide and the flesh, inner space, then we have no connection with the outer space, outer world. In inner world, we are all alone. Nobody can enter that. Isn't it? So, there is no sense in saying that I belong to this material world. This has to be deeply understood, meaningfully understood. And this has to be lived. Then comes what is life. That is the part answered by the first Atma Prakaran. You are that, not this thing which considers itself to be in the world. So then comes, when that is recognized fully well in one's own life, then only they can be Sthita Pragya. Otherwise, the outer and inner world will be always in turbulence. Ashandasya kuda sukam. Very beautifully, Krishna says, Nasti buddhirayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shadi ashandasya kuda sukam. The one who does not understand his own Atman, he does not have discretion. Viveka, wisdom with discretion is Viveka. And one who does not have that discretion, wise discretion, what happens to him? Nacha yuktasya bhavana. He can't properly understand things. The his feelings are false, disturbing, causing him to grieve always. A lot of grief, causing him a lot of grief unnecessarily. One person quarrels with us, abuses us, and leaves. Now we are imagining that scene again and again and getting disturbed. See, isn't it? Now, that person is not there, that place is not there, that time is not there, everything has changed, but we can't change our mindset. It operates in the old past. So, even his imaginations and feelings are not true. They are in the falsehood. They have their basis in the false, not true, in asat. And then what happens? Nacha bhavayada shanti. Those who have no right understanding of the workings of the mind and cannot have a grip on the working of the mind, they will never have peace, which is our birthright. And when we do not have that peace, ashantasya kuta sugam, how can he be happy? So Shanti and Ananda are our real nature. But we are deprived of both because we are not having the right understanding of our own self. That is what Krishna says. Then only we become Sthita Prajna, when we have this understanding about our own self, what we really are. That is understood. Then the life, real life begins. So then Krishna says how they live. Apuryamana majala pradishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarvesa shanti mapno dina kama kami vihaya kamanya sarvan pumam saradi nispriha nirmamo nirahangara sa shanti mati gacchati esha brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimukhyati sthitva mandagalebi brahma nirvanam gacchati. This is what, this is how the description of the Brahmajnani is Atmajnani, Atma Sakshatkrit, Sthita Prajna is described. He moves this sloga Vihaya Kamanya Sarvan, that is the perfect state of a yogi, Parama yogi. Every desire is discarded. And that soul, that Atman, without any desire, from right or left, front or behind, he has no desire. From above or below, he is just peaceful by himself. Nirmamo, he has nothing to say that this is mine. Oh, now that is true about myself. I can't say anything which is about me, around me, as mine. It has been given, I have not earned. So, nirmamo, nirahangara, even the body and the mind and its working is given by the nature, not by itself. We have not got it by our own efforts. Nobody can say, I have selected this body and took birth. Only when he's realizing that I am consciousness, then only they can say it. Till then they can't say. Now, nirmamo nirahangara. So the ego itself has vanished. Sa shanti madhigacchati. He transcends even peace. He approaches full peace, and he cannot say I am peaceful also, because there is no other state to compare. He just is peace. And this supreme state will not move, it will not pass away under any circumstances. Esha brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimukhyati sthitvasya mandagalebi brahma nirvanam ricchati. So this is to be attained. The superhero of Upanishads, Yajnavalkya, says Maitreyi, his younger wife, Atmavare, Srodhavya, Drashtavya, Mandavya, Nididasavya, should be heard about, should be thought about, means analyzed. It should be visualized, seen, means seen as one's own self. And then Nididasavya should be merged in that totally. So that is the ideal state.
Okay, thank you so much, Swami ji. Time कम हो रहा है, and sorry गीतांजलि जी, आप next time आपका सवाल रह गया है, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम उससे कंटिन्यू करेंगे. नेक्स्ट मंडे हम लोग फिर से इकट्ठा होंगे. स्वामी जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच. गीतांजलि जी, मैं क्या बोलूं आपको.
ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. थैंक यू.
ओके श्रोताओं, अच्छी लगी है तो प्लीज लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. थैंक यू सो मच.